Prices, where oil prices have eased below the $100 per barrel mark on hopes of easing United States-Iran talks aimed at ending the ongoing war. The news provided some relief amid fears over supply disruptions due to the Strait of Hormuz blockade. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance has said that Iran had shown some movement towards the United States during the 21-hour peace talks in Islamabad, but not enough to reach an agreement. He said that Washington was waiting for further steps from Tehran, but Iran had refused to give up its right to enrich nuclear fuel. In fact, let's quickly look at the oil prices that we are in fact tracking for you right now. These are the prices of oil, and we'll compare it to how we look at it. This is WTI crude. The last known price was around $96.82. The change has been in the negative, which is 2.26, and the percentage change has been around 2.28% in the negative. So reduction in the price over there for WTI crude. Now, let's also look at Brent crude, where the last known price was $97.92, and it was in fact something that we are looking at. There has been a change of around 1.44% in the negative, and the percentage change has been 1.45% in the negative as well. Let's also look at Murban crude, where the last known price was around $103.33. This has in fact seen an increase of 5.17 and a change percentage of 5.27 in the positive. So Murban crude has seen an increase in the price. Let's look at the Indian basket, where the price is now $116.26. There has been a change of 4.02 in the negative, so a reduction in the price over there, and the percentage change is around 3.34% in the negative. So the Indian basket is also seeing some relief in the prices. Let's look at Dubai crude, where the last known price is around $100.75. The change is around 1.95 in the negative, and the percentage is also 1.90 in the negative. So this is Dubai crude that we are in fact looking at. These were some of the prices that we have been tracking for you. Let me go across to Dr. Sharath Kohli, who's a senior economist who's joining us live on the broadcast to help us decode the price of oil as the war continues. Dr. Kohli, a very good morning to you, and thank you so much for taking out your time and for speaking to NewsX. Dr. Kohli, we've obviously been seeing fluctuating oil prices depending on announcements made by US President Donald Trump, or depending on the US peace deal that was not working out, or now we are hearing there can be second round of talks, there can be some sort of easing. So obviously we are looking at fluctuating oil prices, but how are you looking at the oil prices in the long run, Dr. Kohli?
The situation, as you rightly said, the markets, commodity markets, stock markets, crude oil markets, gold and silver, they're all swaying to the tunes of that one man called President Trump. You know, he decides, he takes weird decisions in the morning, evening, afternoon, you know, and obviously the prices are swaying accordingly. And this is not good, because there are genuine investors in these markets, and you know, a lot of economies, for example, on crude, they depend on the fiscal deficit, the trade deficit, you know, general inflation in the economy. A common man on the street, his household is impacted by these things, and you know, it's literally swaying to the tunes like, you know, when a snake charmer moves around his musical device and the snake moves his head. Literally, these markets have been moving according to the posts of President Trump, which is very sad, because there is also a very strong kind of information flowing around that there is a lobby in America which is trying to make money out of these posts. You know, every time you buy or sell, you can make money, by the way, out of selling. Also, if the prices fall, you can always do derivative trading, speculative trading, sell first and buy later. But for now, a temporary relief, no doubt, because the prices yesterday were hovering around 102, 103. At one point, they had touched 105 as well when the news of failure of talks came. Now, with the news of the second round of talks coming, I think the prices have again cooled down a bit. Good news, but I have a feeling that prices will find very hard to go down to the same level, even if the war comes to a standstill, because the war stops, because the prices originally were $65 to $70. I have a feeling that prices will find very difficult to get back to that level because some of the infrastructure with regard to energy has been damaged for a very long time. So also it depends on what kind of truce is reached, whether Strait of Hormuz will open or not, because barricading of Strait of Hormuz has been done by US naval ships as of now. Situation on ceasefire is very fragile. So in this fragile situation, it is very hard to make a long-term comment, but prices are high. And I think the Indian oil marketing companies are already starting to feel the pressure now. And despite government reducing the excise, I think at some point, the Indian oil marketing companies may have to take a call where the prices may be passed on to the consumers, although I hope that doesn't happen. But the inflation numbers have come to be higher yesterday evening, 3.4%, up from 3.2%. I'm sure the inflation for the month of April will be even higher. Food prices, fuel prices, energy prices have been rising. So a temporary relief, but I would call it very, very temporary.
Absolutely. Dr. Kohli, if I can request you to please stay on with us. We have another piece of information that we'd like to introduce to our viewers, where domestic LPG cylinder prices have remained unchanged